says there at the bottom?
Tuesday at 9:33 p.m.
Okay. And so the messages before that, would that have also been on Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to go backwards and go to our first set. So were these also Tuesday evening?
Yes, ma'am. That's the night that I left.
Okay. And we see here in these messages that y'all are both using kind of some emojis and stuff, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that normal for how y'all talked?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is Tuesday in state 64 and 65. And can you tell us, what are y'all talking about?
We were talking about the Taco Bell that had been delivered.
And we see it continues in state 66 and 67. Can you tell us what that timestamp is on this last message?
Tuesday at 11:16 p.m.
And is this Tammy just telling you good night?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell me what that time and date stamp is on this, the middle of this message?
Wednesday at 9:26 in the morning.
Okay. And is that the normal time that Tammy wakes up, or earlier or later?
No, she would wake up earlier sometimes. Sometimes she'd sleep a little bit later. Just depending on how late that me and her had stayed up texting.
Okay. So she didn't have a set wake-up time, is that fair?
No, ma'am. Pretty well. No, not really.
Okay. And so, at 9:26 this morning, what are y'all talking about?
I believe that's whenever they were arguing about maybe going to school, and I said something about coming over and spanking both of them.
Okay. And what's kind of the last message that you get from Tammy that morning?
That everything was okay.
Can you read that last message for me?
The last one?
Yes, sir. The last one's from Tammy.
It says, I'm laying in bed, Tara won't get her clothes finished.
So, at about 9:30 Wednesday morning, you know that Tammy's laying in bed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, was there anything unusual about you and Tammy's communications on that Wednesday?
No, ma'am. Just that, she was talking about getting her clothes done and everything. Everything was pretty well normal that I knew.
Okay. Did y'all talk as much as y'all normally do on Wednesday? If I show you state 70, does that refresh your memory?
Oh, yes, ma'am, because she hadn't texted back. She
Was
was
that
talking about sleeping late, yes.
so? Is that unusual for Tammy to not text you back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, can you read us that timestamp at the top of this state 70?
That was Wednesday at 6:16 p.m.
Okay. And compared to those earlier messages that we saw, is Tammy's messages being as filled with emojis or loving commentary as they were earlier?
No, ma'am. I mean, they're pretty well normal, but, I mean, we wasn't, I would say, yeah, it's pretty well normal, but we just didn't put in emojis and stuff, because I guess she was a little upset.
Okay. And so that's how you took it, was she was just upset?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is state 71. came to talk that Wednesday night, correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's the night I was going home and it was really foggy.
Yes, sir. And then it states 72, which is a continuation of that last picture. Does Tammy ever answer you again?
No, ma'am.
And what is that timestamp in the middle before well good night?
Thursday at 8:58.
The one right above.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Wednesday at 10:38 p.m.
Was it normal for Tammy to just never reply like this?
No, ma'am.
Was it normal for her to not tell you good night?
No, ma'am.
And then we don't see any messages until you said 8:58 p.m. on Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So did you hear from Tammy at all on Thursday?
No, ma'am.
So we noticed that the messages are a different color at the bottom of state 72 than they are at the top. Why is that? Can you explain that to the jury?
The only thing I can figure out is it was not delivered or her phone was off or something. I don't know why they're different.
Okay. So they're not going through correctly?
I don't believe so, ma'am.
And can you read those last two messages you sent Tammy to me?
I asked her, did I do something wrong? I said, for some reason it's not going through. So I switched to this. And then I was teasing. I said, did you block me? That might be the reason why they changed. I don't know. On the color.
And did you ever get an answer from Tammy to those messages?
No, ma'am.
So these messages got us up to about 9 o'clock on Thursday night, which would have been February 6th, 2025. What is going through your head at that point?
I did not, that something was wrong.
And when you started being concerned that something was wrong, what did you do?
I went over to the house and the vehicle was still there in the driveway. I went around, I knocked on the door first, and still no answer. Tammy didn't answer the door and Terry did not answer the door. Then I started getting really worried and I went around and I knocked on the windows, I knocked on her bedroom door, it's a sliding glass door. I knocked on it. Really, I didn't knock on it. I kind of beat it on it. And I went and did the same thing in Terry's room. And then there was no answer. And I went back out. I walked across the street. I knocked on the neighbor's door. They was already in bed and did not see me or hear me. And I think the daughter heard me. But I had already went back across the street. I beat on the door again, on the windows, and then I called, I don't know if I called Christopher first or if I called the Galveston County and told him I need them here because I was fixing to break into this house because I knew something was wrong.
Okay. And just so we all are still following around, Christopher is Tammy's son, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is Tara's dad, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And why was it that you called Christopher that night?
Well, I mean, he needed to know something was going on too. This is his mom and his daughter, so.
And when you called Galveston County Sheriff's Office, why was it that you were calling them?
Because I wanted them there because I was fixing to break into the house, and I did not want them to come rolling up and all of a sudden I'm getting thrown down and arrested, for breaking and entering, but I was concerned,
So is it fair to say you were just informing the Sheriff's Office that you were about to break in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And after you called the Sheriff's Office, did they arrive?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
Okay. Once they arrived, can you walk us through kind of what did you do? What parts of the house did you go to?
We took him, they was walking around, they were shining the lights in the windows, and then they they turned around and looked at me and they said, well, they're moving. I said, no, they're not moving. I was just here, you know, they're not moving. And I asked them, I said, can I look? And when I looked in, I seen stuff that was thrown up against the master bath because the bathroom door was open. There was a little foam mattress that it was up against it. And I knew all that stuff was not there.
So you said you could see this from the master bathroom window?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said it was a foam mattress that was up against it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What other parts of the house did you look in or try to open?
I tried to, I'd already put my shoulder into the front door, but that oak door I know was not going to move because I helped install it.
So since you installed it, that helps too, how does that front door lock or unlock?
It has a regular deadbolt on it, and it's kind of reinforced a little bit.
And does it lock from the,
It locks from the inside and has a key access to the outside.
Okay. And so, was it locked when you tried to open that front door?
Yes, ma'am, it was locked.
Okay. And so, it could have been locked from either inside or outside, is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know who all had keys to that front door?
Well, Tammy and Terry, and then there was a third key, but it had been missing.
Other than the front door, were there any other doors that you tried?
Yes, ma'am. I went around to the back door, the sheriff that followed me then, and we tried to get it open because I broke out the little window that was in that door and reached in, but the washing machine had been turned over. It was blocking the back door. It could not be budged because it was up against the dryer too.
And is that typically how that room is?
No, ma'am.
Is that door a door that can typically be opened and gone through?
Yes, ma'am. It leads out to the backyard, to the little back patio area.
So after you tried that back door and it was blocked by the washer dryer, where did you go next?
I went back to the master bath and I broke out the window. And at that time, the sheriff department, they had my phone and was talking to Chris. And as soon as I broke out the window, being an old firefighter, I knew what was going on. I turned around and looked at them. I said, y'all need to meet me at the front door.
And when you say being an old firefighter and you knew what was going on, what was it that told you what was going on?
The smell that I smelled.
Okay. And is it fair to say that in your previous profession, you had smelled that smell before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what did that smell mean to you?
Somebody was dead.
Okay. Did you go inside that bathroom?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Can you tell me what you saw as soon as you got into the bathroom?
I made my way through the stuff that's not normally thrown in front of the doorway there. And since they had my phone and I didn't have a light, one of the sheriffs handed me their flashlight. And as soon as I pushed the little mattress back enough, I could look over and I seen that the safe had been opened.
And when you say the safe, what kind of safe was that?
It was like a regular, it's a regular safe, but it was big enough to hold rifles and personal items and stuff.
So a pretty large safe?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said it was open?
Yes, ma'am.
And did everything look like it was in its place or out of place?
No, ma'am, it was empty.
And after you saw the safe, what did you see next?
I turned towards where Tammy's bed and everything was, and I seen her laying there like if she was sound asleep.
And I know when we talk about how a bed normally is, we have like a headboard and a footboard, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How did Tammy typically sleep on her bed?
She slept across the bed instead of towards the headboard and the footboard, because down at the end of the footboard she had like her telephone, the lamp, the charger and stuff was all sitting there on it's like kind of like a long, you would see a long table that's behind the sofa.
So she slept with like the footboard to her left and the headboard to her right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you said you looked towards the bed, and what position was Tammy in?
She was laying on her back, like she would normally be sleeping. And I just went ahead and started making my way through, because I knew, as I looked over, I shined the light back over there, and there was a bunch of blankets that was thrown on top of her top section. And whenever I made it to the door, the bedroom door was locked. The only way that you can lock that door is from the inside. So I figured it was locked and the door was closed behind.
And so you mean it was locked from inside and then pulled shut behind somebody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did Tammy typically keep her door locked?
No, ma'am.
And you said there was a lot of sheets and blankets and things on her top half. Did she normally sleep with that many sheets and blankets?
No, ma'am.
Once you realized that door was locked, did you notice anything else in the room?
No, ma'am. At that time, I was headed for the front door, because as I was, right after I broke the window, I tried to tell the sheriff's department, you need to be at the front door. Because like I said, from previous, I knew something had happened. I did not even stop at Tara's room, because I was afraid that she was going to be there too.
And when you came through Tammy's door, did you see any signs of Tara or Percy?
No, ma'am.
And you said you didn't check in Tara's room because you were concerned she might be in there as well.
Yes, ma'am, and I know that I did not want to disturb anything, because, like I said, I already knew, and I wanted them to get in there to take over the scene and everything. I did not want to disturb nothing else.
And so, did you ultimately get out the front door?
Yes, ma'am. I went to the front door, I undid the deadbolt, opened it up, pushed the screen door open. I walked out, I handed the sheriff department back their flashlight, told them it was their scene, and I sat down on one of the chairs that I usually sit in on the front porch.
And after that, what did you do?
I just sat there for a while, and then they took over, and I was asked to move outside of the crime scene tape and everything. I said, that's not a problem, and I went across the street to the neighbors, and I sat over there.
And after that, did you cooperate fully with the police and allow them to do their job?
Yes, ma'am, I certainly did. I asked them, I said, what about Tara? And they did take and tell me that...
Don't tell me what anybody else said. But you checked on Tara?
That they had checked on Tara.
Okay. And did you know if Tara was still in the house?
Not until they told me.
Okay. After that, did you ever hear from Tara or Percy?
No, ma'am. I texted Tara's phone, and I don't think I never did get nothing back at all.
And then ultimately after that, the police handled everything moving forward?
Yes, ma'am. They took me over, set me down, and test, the GR, the test for gunpowder residue or anything on my hands, and there was none whatsoever.